If you're a Cleveland Browns fan looking for a break from the emotional roller coaster that is the price we pay from loving then hating our Browns, then a big welcome to Cleveland Browns Anonymous, a group therapy podcast to help you survive the season. So let's start our meeting.
Hi, everybody. It's Mike and Brook on a bone-chilling Monday. High right now, about 10 degrees. And just got done watching a lot of football, except for Brook, who watched a lot of Godfather because she had
the flu.
Had the flu.
A lot of Godfather, a lot of The West Wing.
Wow. Okay. All right.
But I did watch a lot of football.
Okay, so you've been saturated. Well, you know, a couple hours ago, we just heard about Sean McDermott getting the axe. So we got John Harbaugh, we got
Stefanski.
Well, Stefanski, Harbaugh, Tomlin. Now we got Sean McDermott. Everybody's looking for the next Sean McVay, the next brilliant offensive-minded coach. And, of course, the media. I mean, if you're a media analyst, this has got to be just, all this low fruit to hang. You could start talking about, I don't know how they let Mike Tomlin go, John Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski, 2 Coach of the Year awards. So what is it? Herd mentality? What do you think, Brook?
I mean, I think John Gruden said it best. There was a clip of him, because he's on Barstool, when they broke it to him live that Sean McDermott got the axe. And they were like, Coach, how does this make you feel? And he said, it makes me sick. I think there's coaches that need to get fired. I like Stefanski, but he needed to get fired. I think Sean McDermott,
on the road
against the number 1 seed in Denver, take it to overtime. I'm sorry, your quarterback didn't play well. It's not the coach's fault. Now, maybe the owner was like, you know what, I've got this window with Josh where he's playing at this elite level. But, I mean, how Sean McDermott fits into the Browns, I mean, it totally changes everything now, I think.
Well, you kind of wonder whether Sean McDermott is Andy Reid, 2.0. Andy Reid couldn't win the Super Bowl. In fact, that was the tag on him, the Philly organization. Got into the playoffs and then, choked. And maybe there's some truth to that. Again, Vince Lombardi, he lost his first playoff title game against the Eagles, 1960. And then this famous quote, Bart Starr says, goes to the locker room. He said, well, we got beat today, but that's the last time we're ever going to get beat. There is a culture of winning. You think about Belichick all the times in the Super Bowl. Yeah, he lost a couple Super Bowls, but he won a lot more than he lost. Of course, he had Tom Brady. Tom Brady, the GOAT. Tom Brady goes down to Tampa Bay, and they win a Super Bowl. So, I mean, you could really kind of slice and dice it. Sean McDermott's a good coach. We should have had Sean McDermott. Instead, we got Hugh Jackson.
Yep.
We should have had Khalil Mack. Instead, we got Johnny Manziel. I mean, that is an organizational failure. And that's been going on, as I've been saying a number of times, for 30 years, ever since Marty Schottenheimer. And Ernie, of course, he got the boot from Modell. So that Modell water is still in the Browns organization. But I think there's a lot of herd mentality going on. I mean, it is endless talk about the bright offensive minds. And I want to play a clip. Bruce Arians talks about what makes a great head coach. It's leaders of men and a plan. If you think about leaders of men, who were the Hall of Fame coaches? Lombardi, Parcells. You could say the same thing about Sean Payton. Look how he's made a turnaround there.
Yep.
Now, you can't, I mean, what's Bill Walsh, right? Belichick 2.0. Not with the Browns. He was terrible with the Browns.
And look what like Jimmy Johnson did with the Cowboys.
Yeah. And he crashed and burned with Miami. So he didn't have a Troy Aikman.
But he took he turned the culture around.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It took a couple years. But again, getting back to what Bruce Arians said about leadership, was Kevin Stefanski a leader of men? I don't think so.
No, I don't. Yeah.
John Harbaugh? He seemed pretty quiet there. I mean, we said last week, was it really John Harbaugh or was it the organization? Starting with Ozzie Newsome. That's a great organization. I mean, they took Lamar Jackson over Baker,
yep.
Right?
I mean, I think like watching the playoffs this weekend, watching the Bears especially, watching the Patriots, it showed me that, if you've got a good team, but if you have the right coach, this isn't some 5-year
rebuild.
If you've got the right guy in there, you could sniff the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, it does help that the Bears, have, they drafted a quarterback super high. Patriots did too, but
you got to have the right coach.
Got to have the right.
Because that quarterback last year,
they were tough.
They were terrible.
Bust.
It was bust. Same thing goes with Drake May, right?
And I think those two guys, right? I think you've got Mike Vrabel, who's not some defensive mastermind. He's not some offensive mastermind, but he is a leader. I mean, you could just hear his balls clanking on the sidelines. And then you got Ben Johnson, who is pretty much an offensive savant, trick plays, schemes, motions, but you also see him hyping up his team. So I think, there's no right, you can be you don't necessarily have to be some young offensive guru. You don't necessarily have to be some 60-year-old NFL vet who's a defensive genius. You just have to be able to lead these teams.
Well, one of the things that jumps out at me, we talk about Sean McDermott and John Harbaugh, and let's talk about Ben Johnson, is the ability to grow into your job. So every year you are getting to be a better head coach. You're learning from your mistakes. You're evolving as a head coach. It was interesting, you think about Andy Reid. I think the better example is Belichick. Belichick was a whole different coach when he got to the Patriots than he was with the Browns. With the Browns, he was your typical bright defensive coordinator, not anywhere close to being a good head coach. His drafts were terrible, absolutely terrible. He did well his second year because he had a lot of ex-Giants. Remember, Pepper Johnson was on the team. He brought the Giants over, but they were just over the hill. And, of course, everything crashed and burned. The way he handled Bernie Kosar, all you got to do is look up Todd Philpott, who would play.
Who?
He replaced Bernie Kosar. All right? And you know what Belichick said? He said, he gives us a better chance of winning. What does that sound like? Sounds like Kevin Stefanski, right?
Yeah.
So, Mark, dig that clip out.
I think first and foremost, the guy's leader of men. It's not, as a head coach, you're responsible for everybody, the staff, the entire building. So you have to be a leader of men and have a plan. Everybody said, what's your philosophy? I don't want to hear shit about philosophies. Give me your plan. How are you going to do it? Show me on paper. Talk to me about how you're going to get this done day to day and get all the way to the season and through it.
So are you set on Schwartz?
Schwartz is the guy.
He's your pick.
He's the guy. I mean, Schwartz is, I saw one guy, one analyst talk about, Schwartz didn't do too well in Detroit. Well, Belichick didn't do too well in Cleveland, right? not saying Schwartz is going to be the next Belichick, but take a look at what Belichick did.
Well, he got a second interview.
Yeah.
I just have this feeling it's going to be that kid from Jacksonville.
No way.
I don't know. I've got
no way. It's got to be Schwartz. And in fact, now we've got all these.
I'm not saying like that he's my pick. My pick is, again, I want someone with an offensive drive.
Well, again, I keep going around the tree on this. I got an offense. Look at scheme is irrelevant. It's leader of men. These people have to be leaders.
So I just don't think we need to be stuck with Jim Schwartz just because he did pretty good with our defense.
He's a leader of men.
I get
Jim
that.
Schwartz.
I get
period.
that. But
you can get Ben Johnson too as your offensive coordinator.
Okay, so I think we all know who Mike McDaniel is as a head coach because we've seen him as a head coach. But these two other guys, the kid from Jacksonville, Grant, I think it's Udinski, and the other guy from the Rams, the passing games coordinator. We don't know what they're like as leaders. What if they come in and they are just screaming leadership?
I don't know.
Jimmy Haslam sees a young guy who's like, okay, I like this vibe.
I don't know. I think the Browns are screaming for culture change. It's got to be part of the plan. Look, the Browns had the opportunity of developing Bill Belichick. Unfortunately, we had Art Modell as opposed to Bob Kraft in New England, who learned how to be an owner after his experience with Bill Parcells. That partnership of Kraft and Belichick is what got the Patriots off and running. And then, of course, they recognized they developed Tom Brady. You know, Kraft surrounded Bill Belichick with top organization. You know, Scott Pioli, Bill Parcells' son-in-law, running the draft. I mean, their drafts were incredible, rock solid for years. And then, of course, they pick up Randy Moss. So Belichick learned from his experience in Cleveland, a dysfunctional organization. Kraft was trying to turn around the Patriots after his bad experience with Bill Parcells. That was a match not made in heaven. So all of a sudden you get owner finds the right coach and off and running. Haslam needs to find the right coach. He's never had that. He's had a bunch of yes men. We had Bruce Arians was on the Browns. Vrabel was on the Browns. I mean, don't go chasing the shiny bauble, which is these bright young coaches. We need leaders of men. Now, you could be right, Brook. I mean, these guys could be walking in there, drill sergeant, but I just think they're just variations of Mike McDaniel. Now Sean McDermott, that guy is a leader. His presence on the sideline, he stabilized the Bills. He had Dable, who was not a leader of men, a bright offensive coordinator who developed Josh Allen, right? The Browns get Schwartz, get one of those bright young baubles, and maybe that's why they're interviewing these guys. You know?
Maybe. I just think you need to be open that there's a very good chance that it'll be one of these young guys.
Well, I'm going to be real disappointed because, unfortunately, my experience with the Browns is Eric Mangini, Pat Shurmur, Stefanski.
Yeah.
All three of them, not leaders of men. I saw Schottenheimer. Schottenheimer was good.
But if you get it right if you get a young guy right, look at the Niners. Look at the Rams.
Shanahan? We had him in the building.
Yeah, but he wanted to leave.
Well, he like I said last week,
32-point PowerPoint.
right. And they just blew him off.
And guess who made him that 32-point PowerPoint?
Who?
His assistant coach, Mike McDaniel.
Okay.
That just shows you.
Hey,
Everyone's been to Cleveland.
everybody's been the revolving door in Cleveland.
And I'll say this too, because I was listening to a podcast and this guy made a good point. When the Rams hired Sean McVay, the league was like, that's a joke. It's never going to work. He's too young.
Yeah.
It's too young. Now look at him.
Yeah. No, they hit a home run. I get it.
So if you
I'm
get it
not.
right,
I'm not saying. I think the chances of getting it right with with young assistant coaches more often than not doesn't work.
no, I agree with that.
And I'm not saying you got to get a tired lifer veteran like Mike McCoy. Look, here's another reason for Schwartz. He knows the Browns. He knows Andrew Berry. He's had a front row seat for 3 years where the problems are. Njoku acting up, Judy dropping passes, the jumping off sides, the special teams blow. He's seen it firsthand. And so if he's a veteran, second time around, given his own experiences with the Lions, he's going to know, okay, this is what I need to do. I just think, when I think about how I started my business in 1974, 50 years plus, okay, before you were born, before everybody in this room was born, Amari and Mac, it's amazing what I didn't know how to be an owner. I had a lot of great ideas and how I wanted my painting company to work. Probably took me about 5 years just getting that 10 years developed. But then I think about all the mistakes I've made, decades worth of mistakes. Where I am now versus where I was, night and day. There's a lot to be said with a Jim Schwartz and Lombardi. There's another one. Lombardi took over the Packers when he was in his early 50s. He had been with the Giants for like 6-7 years. Assistant coach at Army, Red Blake, never got offers. A lot of prejudice against Italian Americans. I mean, you just see that great HBO bio on Lombardi. You did a paper on him. When he got to the Packers, he knew what he wanted. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. And I think Schwartz, I've never met the guy, I've never talked to the guy. It's pure speculation. My bet is that Jim Schwartz, if he's listening out there, or Jimmy, if you're listening out there, or whatever, if he's the right guy, he's going to come in there in that second interview and just say, you know what? I did this wrong then. I should have done this. I should have done this. Here's my PowerPoint. Here's my 30-second elevator speech on what I think I can bring to the Browns to get us to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, I mean, he is the safe bet. He is the safe bet.
And look at Ben Johnson. Look at that game yesterday. He goes for it on fourth down. At least 2 times. You see that game? Or 3?
3 or 4.
Yeah. Stopped a couple.
He's got stopped every time. Or they scored a touchdown on 1, right, Mac?
Think so.
Yeah. Okay, so he scored, but then the next 3 times he gets stuffed. If he had kicked field goals, all they would need is a chip shot field goal to win. Stefanski did that the last 2 games. The Bengals and the Steelers. When prior to that, he had done dumb analytic, go for it on fourth down, let Harold Fannin run the ball, right? They were like 0 for 8 in fourth down. That's how we lost to the 49ers. we gave them the ball at the 30-yard line. What was the fourth quarter in that game? Fourth down. The last 2 games, you know what Stefanski did? field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal. And when you're in the playoffs playing great defenses, every point is precious. And Ben Johnson blew it by going fourth down too many times. And then at the end of the game, he should have gone for two. He should have gone for two. That is coaching, head coaching experience, which he's never had. He watched Dan Campbell do it. So, and he's looking at his, like Harold Ramis in Ghostbusters, he's looking at his analytic machine. But no, rookie head coach is in his first playoff game. Second. So, but he did a great job a season. But hey, mark my words on the Bears. Question mark on the Bears, because they were like the Commanders last year. They won a lot of close games, a lot of comeback wins where the ball just is bouncing their way.
Yeah,
that's not sustainable.
Well, hopefully we'll find out soon.
Yeah. No, I think they're just going to lock down Schwartz before he gets another interview.
Well, he's only got one other, and it's in Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, if they're interested in him, that's a good sign for Jim Schwartz. Right? What else, Brook, on the Browns?
Well, you gotta, it's just, I would just love to have like an invisibility cloak and just kind of sit in, like what are the questions that they're asking these guys? I mean, they gotta be asking candidates about Shador.
Yeah.
Hey, let's stop here. We got to pay some bills. 30 seconds, and we'll be back. Getting your house ready to sell, or you just need some basic repairs, and you can't get anybody to come out or even return your phone call. Then call Riley Painting and Contracting, your home mechanics, for all of your home repair needs, from electrical, plumbing, roof repairs, and getting your house ready to sell. 45 years in the business, a AAA on the Better Business Bureau. And we're on the preferred contractor list in Cleveland Heights and Shaker Heights. You can contact us by calling 216-371-8160 and leave a message. And guess what? We'll call you back.
I do feel bad. I also do not feel bad for the Jets because they're prize pick in the draft, Dante Moore, decided to go back to Oregon. And there was a report that came out that said if it was between Oregon and the Jets, he was going to go back to school.
Good for him.
Then he was like, fuck it, I'm going back to school. So yeah, hey, I mean, I'm fine with Shador rolling with him next year. There's no one in this draft other than Mendoza.
You know what? I'm so glad it's only Mendoza.
Yeah.
And then everybody else is the second or third round pick. So that means, look at Browns. You took Dylan Gabriel. You took Shador. You're going to have Watson coming back. All the more reason why we need Jim Schwartz to handle Deshaun Watson. We don't need some bright, starry-eyed, young whiz kid. What? He's going to deal with the Deshaun Watson thing? The quarterback controversy? Really? You need a leader of men to handle Deshaun Watson. I mean, if Parcells, last year, if we had Parcells, if we did one of those Freaky Fridays, where you get the spirit of Bill Parcells into Kevin Stefanski, you talk about the cloak of invisibility. Yeah. Let's do a little Freaky Sunday where Parcells comes in on the sidelines. You know what he would have done? Probably second game in the season after that debacle against Dallas with Watson. He would have pulled him.
It was the first game.
He literally would have pulled him. He would have fired Bubba on special teams.
He still has a job. So.
You know who had worse special teams? I was thinking about this because I'm watching all these playoff games. All their special teams are great. Nobody's jumping off sides like the dumbass Browns. You know, even though they're doing hard counts, whatever. You look at the Rams, you look at the Bears, you look at, Sean McDermott's Buffalo Bills, you look at Sean Payton's Denver Broncos. There are no dumb player moves because they're so well coached. Stefanski's special teams sucked. And prior to that, who was even worse was Hugh Jackson. Every single punt return, there was a blocking in the back. You can look it up. They led the league in penalties. That's Hugh Jackson, another bright quarterback whisperer. Kevin Stefanski, another great quarterback whisperer, right? Well, who'd he develop? Nobody. Nobody got developed under Stefanski. And I said that in earlier podcasts. So if we had Freaky Friday and Parcells, you would have seen chairs thrown on the sidelines. Lombardi, what the hell's going on out there, right? Instead of the John Harbaughs, right? No chair throwing there.
Mike Tomlin.
What, 0-9 in the playoffs?
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm sure players I love Aaron Rodgers. Mike Tomlin. I love playing with Mike Tomlin. Look you're not winning playoff games. John Harbaugh, how many dumb games did the Ravens lose?
Maybe that's why they fired him.
That's why they fired him. Why is that a shock? Now he's going to the Giants. And you know what's going to be fascinating, folks? Okay. The Andy Reid litmus test. Okay. Let's see how John Harbaugh does with the Giants. Because Andy Reid left the Eagles, people said he just can't win the big one, right? He goes to Kansas City, immediately turns them around. Immediately. And they had I forget who the quarterback was. This is before Mahomes.
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith got a horrendous injury. Ended his season. KC was in the playoffs.
But then Mahomes takes you to the next level.
Exactly. But you got to also have the coach that's going to recognize Mahomes and develop Mahomes and surround Mahomes with Tyreek Hill, right?
Travis Kelce.
Our former Browns. Remember he led the league in rushing? Kareem Hunt, right? Now, what's John Harbaugh going to do? He doesn't have the Ozzie Newsome created organization that took Lamar Jackson, right? So is he going to transform the Giants? How about Mike Tomlin? Another 500, maybe a game or two above 500, might put some stability there? Or is he going to be an Andy Reid?
So how do you know that Schwartz isn't going to be like that? That's what I fear.
That's a good question.
What if he's like 8-9?
You know what? The thing that I liked about,
because I think that's what Barry and Haslam are asking themselves.
well,
Because if they've got a couple of candidates, let's take Mike McDaniel off, although there's a very good chance that he might be a serious candidate. Let's say they got these three young guys that are like 32, 30, 35. And they're looking at him, it'd be like, you know what? They're not ready like right now, but in a year or two, they could be the next McVay.
All right, let's go back to your question. How do we know Jim Schwartz is going to crash and burn?
Not crash and burn, but just be middle of the road.
I think that second interview, if Haslam and Barry have grown into their respective jobs, Haslam as an owner, Haslam looking back with D, with a legal pad, sitting in Brampton, looking at, from his mansion, looking at the frozen lake and a fire crackling. maybe a glass of brandy. He's just writing down Mike Pettin, Ray Farmer, Johnny Manziel, this, OBJ. And he's just painting a picture. I just want the Browns to make decisions that are like Brock Osweiler for a second round draft pick. That to me was okay. The Browns are thinking outside the box. A little money ball. I like it. I like what they did with that Brock Osweiler move. And then pre-Deshaun Watson, great drafts. Njoku, picking up OBJ, Amari Cooper, developing Wyatt Teller off the scrap heap with Bill Callahan. That was the Browns not being the dumb Browns. There was a certain amount of sharpness about it. They weren't stupid moves like the pre-Browns under Al Lerner and his knucklehead son, who was more interested in soccer than football, and the parade of just terrible GMs and front office guy like, who's this guy, Lombardi, who went down to in North Carolina with Belichick, basically ruined. I mean, Lombardi was typical of what the Browns had. Now they're bringing in Barry. They got rid of Hugh. Okay, they kind of stabilized, had some good drafts. They got Chubb. They got these young players. The Browns just seem like they are ascending. And I think what I'd like to see if they pick Schwartz, there was a smart reason. They're getting back to being a little bit sharper, a more sharper pencil in the box with picking Schwartz, the reasoning behind picking Schwartz, instead of following the herd or getting some lifer retread. Schwartz did a phenomenal job with the Browns D, taking Joe Woods.
Yeah, and there's one caveat though. He did a great job with the Browns defense when they played at home. They didn't play well when they were away.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's something
that's a question mark.
It's like, and I'm not trying to like knock Jim Schwartz. Again, if they pick him, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's the safe bet. But I think it is.
I'll give you that. Yeah, that's you're right. And I think that Vikings game on the road in London, Carson Wentz, really, he beats us. We're playing prevent.
Did we play in New York with the Jets?
A lot of special teams. They played great on D. You know what? The Ravens on the road, Steelers on the road, those are all close games in the first half.
I just keep going back to what Jimmy Haslam said when they fired Stefanski, and he was adamant about he wants someone who is very specialized, and his words were on one side of the football. And a lot of people took that as offense.
Okay, well, we'll see.
And if I'm Jim Schwartz, honestly, let's just say they hired a kid from the Rams, right? I mean, if I'm Jim Schwartz, I'm going to be fucking pissed.
Yeah, you're going to leave.
You're going to leave. You're probably going to go.
Should leave.
You're probably going to go to the Cowboys because they're looking for a DC.
Yeah.
Or maybe in these interviews with him, they tell him, listen, Jim, we're going to pick a young guy, but we want to make you the highest paid defensive guy in the league.
I think Jim Schwartz wants to be head coach. And yeah, I think the Cowboy move would be a great move for him because Jerry Jones he cycles through head coaches like crazy. He makes Jimmy Haslam look like the Pittsburgh organization, the way he cycles through. I think Schwartz, if he can't get the head coach job now with the Browns, after all he's done, just go to another team that might be open to him being head coach. I don't know why he would stick around.
He'll get passed up twice.
And in fact, if I'm Jim Schwartz, I'm going to say, hey, listen, guys. In fact, if I was a betting man, I said it's going to be Jim Schwartz because I'm sure he sat down with them, Andrew, Jimmy, said, listen, I'm not going to be a babysitter for another Mike McDaniel. Who was the genius whiz kids that were on the Chargers before Harbaugh came in?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that guy, Mac?
What was his name?
Who was the guy in the Chargers?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Brandon Staley.
Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley is my poster child of bright young whiz kids, right? And they were terrible.
And mine is Liam Cohen, Jacksonville. Again, when they hired him, they were like, there goes Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Another stupid move. They made the playoffs.
Yeah. No, that guy did a good job. It's a crapshoot. But Schwartz is going to say, I'm leaving. I'm not going to babysit the kid. I mean, the guy who was the guy before Sean Payton? When the Broncos.
It's their...
Who was that guy?
Nathaniel Hackett. Yeah. He there.
Nathaniel Hackett, one of the worst coaches in the 21st century.
Yeah, he was bad.
He was bad. How about, let's play bad coaches. Bill Callahan's son.
Pretty bad.
Wait. I'm not back.
What?
Let's play bad coaches. Start from there. Hold up.
Oh, good tip. Okay. Let's play bad coaches. Chargers guy. What's his name?
Brandon Staley.
Brandon Staley.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad, right? Okay. I would not have him as number one. Okay, give me another bad coach.
Bad coach?
Yeah, this is bad coaches.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Okay. Bad coaches. Hugh Jackson. He's got to be in that top 10.
Oh, he's top 5.
Oh, top 5. Yeah, top 5. Hugh Jackson.
He did a flea flicker in his own end zone.
He was the guy who wanted us to trade a second and a third for A.J. McCarron.
Yep.
And Sashi Brown took a bullet. Hugh Jackson's up there, bad coach. Okay. Brian Dable. Pretty bad. He's honorable mention bad coach.
I think if you're going to go Giants, you got to go Shermer.
Pat Shermer. Pat Shermer.
He's a double whammy because he was bad on the Browns and he was bad on the Giants.
Yeah. Norv Turner. Terrible head coach. Every place he goes, he crashes and burns. Great offensive coordinator. But the number one bad coach all time, in the last, let's say 5-10 years, Broncos guy.
Oh, yeah. Nathaniel Hackett.
Did I remember that?
I honestly, I think this
Urban Meyer.
He's got to be up there.
Urban Meyer in the top 10.
I think it's Hugh.
Yeah.
I think he's the worst coach.
Yeah.
I mean, what, 1-15, 0-16? That's bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad. And you know what made it worse? I remember when they hired him, there was a video of him walking in Berea and the Haslam's got everyone out and they started clapping him. I remember I had this like sick feeling like this can be bad.
Well, Hugh Jackson, Oakland, he was pretty bad then too.
Yeah.
I think somebody needs to talk to Jimmy and say, you guys need to know the internet. All you got to do is go and read the Oakland papers when Hugh Jackson was there. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Let's go another bad.
I mean, there's got to be a Raiders.
Oh, we got to.
Oh, I got one. Adam Gase.
Adam Gase.
Jets.
How about Pete Carroll? His last act.
I don't think so.
He won the Super Bowl, but Pete Carroll with the Oakland Raiders?
I think that he wasn't meant to be part of her.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. We have got to add Chip Kelly. He was head coach of the Eagles.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
And every place he goes.
Except Ohio State. He won us a championship. So should have stayed with the Buckeyes.
Yeah, as an OC.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was terrible with Pete Carroll. In fact, he was making more money He's one of the highest paid guys there at $5 million a year. And they got the plays all mixed up.
Yeah, he was pretty bad.
I think he was trying to work on a Madden game. Okay, bad coaches. I like it.
Trying to.
We got some content, Amari?
Yeah, well, that's a lot of bad coaches.
A lot of bad coaches out there.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Brook, I think we took bad coaches.
Let's just see if there's any breaking news.
Breaking notes. Any other head coaches get fired?
Doesn't look like it.
No, but
No.
the Cavs are getting stomped.
Oh, what? Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the score
Down by 23.
against?
The Thunder.
Oh, yeah, well, Thunder. But I like what's his face, that young second-year guy.
No new news.
Okay, no firing as of yet.
Although the only thing is, I mean, Tommy Reese is probably gone to the Falcons, but I don't care.
Okay, the last thing I want to mention.
Stefanski got wined and dined. Arthur Blank apparently cooked him steaks. True story. Did you hear that? Yeah, they invited Stefanski over to Arthur.
You know what? We're going to have to play this. You know, it's going to be very interesting. Kevin Stefanski.
Hey, good for him, man.
Good. I've always liked Kevin Stefanski. I always liked him. I just thought he was not a good head coach.
He'll do fine.
Yeah.
That division sucks.
John Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski, wherever Mike Tomlin lands, that is going to be an interesting thing. But getting back to Tommy Reese. Tommy Reese is under contract, right? With the Browns?
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I think he's under contract. Is he under contract?
Well, no, because if they hire a new head coach, the head coach will. I don't know.
Well, hey, Jim Schwartz keeps Tommy Reese. Is Tommy Reese under contract?
I'm checking. Says he is currently under contract with the team, but is expected to depart.
Well, wait, he's under contract, which means it's kind of like these players who are under contract want to be traded.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you. You're under contract, right?
Well, that's if Schwartz. If Schwartz gets the job and if Schwartz liked him as an OC.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess he could technically.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, obviously, Schwartz got to sign off on it.
I think, though.
But it's like, Tommy, wait a minute. Don't make any plans yet. You are under contract, right?
I think the only way it would be void is if, let's say, Stefanski hires him and says, we're hiring you as the OC / assistant head coach.
Okay.
Like, if it's a raise, then you have to.
All right. Well, I'm not privy to the.
I'm not fucking worried about it.
Yeah. I'm just, I'm just thinking about some of these locker room dramas with, coaching controversies. Like, well, who's number one? I'm going to pick the guy who I think is going to give us really the best chance of winning. Okay? OBJ, you're not getting traded. All right? Okay? I get Clowney, who's under contract, starts acting up on the sidelines, doesn't want to go in. You're suspended. You just lost the game's pay, right? Okay? Can we just have some real accountability for the Browns? That's something about the NFL. It's a real kind of Jekyll and Hyde. On the one hand, people are making so much money. The greatest job in the world right now, backup quarterback. Josh McCown.
You look at the Broncos kid.
What?
Look at the Broncos kid.
Yeah.
Stidham. He's about to.
I mean, really? You're making what? Couple million? Joe Flacco, couple million? You got a clipboard, you got a little visor. You're not getting whacked by 350-pound defensive tackles, right? You're just out there, you're kind of, you're cheerleading. I'm sure if they got a chance to go in, they'd say, "Ooh, I don't know, coach." I'm enjoying getting my suntan here with my visor. I don't know if I wanna. What? Hey, coach, if I go in, I'll get hit. Make sure I want two tight ends. No, make it a tight end and another offensive tackle on that line. And don't call me any deep passes. So, anyways, God forbid I have to roll out.
God forbid I have to get out on the field.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, we're sidetracked. All right. Well, next week
Probably have a new coach.
we'll probably have a new coach. So, all right.
It's in place for a team that's in the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. All right, everybody. We'll pick it up in a week.
All right.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you for listening to the Cleveland Browns Anonymous podcast with Mike Riley. We have a lot more content on the way as we get this new podcast started. You can also check out some of our other podcasts like the Cleveland Real Estate Investor Podcast and other new ones that will start soon. On any platform that you find yourself listening to us on, feel free to leave us a like or comment or follow us. It always helps.